All right, guys, in today's video, we are talking about the PlayStation 5 August State of Play. We have a new rumor that is coming out, and apparently they are letting us know what day Sony is planning to do this in August and at what time. So I wanted to take a couple minutes here to talk about this, report it to you guys, and let you know whether or not I believe it, whether or not I think you should believe it, and more importantly, what exactly Sony may end up showing at this event. Because we know it's going to happen, and we know that Sony's probably going to want to show some pretty significant stuff, I would assume. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're also talking about an update that Sony has provided here when it comes to the PlayStation 5 demo stations, and they're confirming that these demo stations are actually not PS5 related, which I find pretty interesting, but definitely want to let you guys know about that. So I want to let you know also that later today, I will have a second video going live where I'm just going to talk about my expectations for tomorrow's Xbox Game Showcase. You guys know I will be streaming it live, but I figured it would be nice to preface it by just giving you guys my honest expectations for those who haven't heard them yet. So look forward to that. Do me a favor, make sure you hit the like button to help this video out. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future content, and hit the bell notification icon so you're notified immediately anytime a new video goes live. But starting with this rumor or this leak, whatever you want to call it, I guess you would call it a leak if you do believe the source here. And the source is once again Roberto Serrano here on Twitter. And I understand that there are a lot of people who are immediately going to write this off and not believe it, because the last rumor from this individual that we covered had to do with PlayStation 5 pre-orders apparently being talked about or going live on July 13th. And apparently, according to him, Sony was going to announce the price and release date. And that one I was already a little bit skeptical about, because it was like, well, does that really make a lot of sense? However, it is worth noting that the day of July 13th, actually, that is when a bunch of apparently pre-order pages went live on certain websites and Amazon. However, you just couldn't actually pre-order the PS5. Some people were claiming that they were already there. Others were saying that no, they were just, popping up now. So maybe he got some bad information there. The reason why I'm willing to cover this once again and give him another chance is because, again, he was spot on and correct when it comes to the June 11th PlayStation 5 event. And maybe because he's talking about another event here, I'm feeling more inclined to believe it. Now, I'm not believing it 100%. However, I am just paying a little bit of attention to it because he could be correct here. And the timing does make sense. Once again, he did say on June 7th that the PlayStation 5 event would be scheduled for June 11th, 2020. And he came out here before anybody else claiming this. And he also got the time correct. So it tells you that where he's getting his information from, it seems like it's 50-50, where whatever source he has, they're saying things to him, and sometimes they're correct, other times they're not. So let's actually go over his tweet here. He says, breaking news, PS5 fans pin this. Sony's PlayStation 5, their next event is scheduled for August 6th, 2020. And he lists the times here. And he says you can watch it on PlayStation's website, Twitch, YouTube. He says to be confirmed. And so he has a little image here that I guess he made up. And he goes on to say, in the next Sony event, you will see a showcase of incoming games on PS5 and PS4 from creative talent of PlayStation Studios and worldwide acclaimed third-party studios. Be the first to discover the latest news and some exciting surprises. And once again, he reiterates August 6th. Now, again, I'm not saying I believe this fully, but the timing would make sense. In my opinion, Sony would not want to wait too long after Microsoft's event because, let's be honest, there is a pretty good amount of excitement and hype for Microsoft's event tomorrow, and all signs are pointing to, at the bare minimum, Microsoft meeting those expectations and potentially even exceeding them in some cases. And so if they do achieve that, they're going to have a lot of momentum on their side, and Sony is just not going to let them run with that. That's just not what Sony does. Sony has been preparing for this, and so it's hard to tell exactly how big this event is going to be, how big this state of play is going to be. It doesn't actually seem here that he doesn't really mention, as far as I know, that this is going to be, a state of play or not, but that's what we've been hearing for quite some time. I've been telling you guys that if this is in fact a state of play, to me, it signals a format change, because I have to imagine Sony has a lot they want to show and talk about. What's interesting to me is he's talking about PlayStation 5 and PS4, so this could mean one of two things, in my opinion. This is just me speculating, but I will be interested to see if you guys agree or disagree with this. One of two things. The first and most obvious is there's going to be more of a third-party presence here, maybe like the next Call of Duty being announced. That would make a lot of sense, and that's where the PS4 comes in with these third-party developers and publishers, because their games are most likely going to be cross-gen. However, I think it might also signal, potentially, again, this is just me kind of guessing here, maybe Sony announces a multiplayer title or two multiplayer titles from their first-party studios. We know that, well, I don't want to say that we know anymore because we actually don't know, but could this be where we finally see The Last of Us Factions mode, The Last of Us multiplayer announced? If it was announced, could we see that actually being a cross-gen title? Because it would make a lot of sense since it's a multiplayer game, right? Where PS4 and PS5 players can play together. That would make a lot of sense. What about Killzone or SOCOM? Guerrilla Games, their second team is working presumably on some type of multiplayer title that has yet to be revealed. If we were to see that here, would that be announced for the PS5 and the PS4? I know that Sony has made it clear that they're all about exclusive games and generational exclusives, but you have to understand that when you look at the June event, it's worth noting that we didn't really see any significant multiplayer presence there. I think Godfall was probably the only one, but even then, that's a co-op multiplayer, nothing competitive or team-based or anything like that, as far as I know. So maybe they were saving this for the August event, and maybe they were doing this because they know potentially that Microsoft is going to have a big emphasis on multiplayer titles during their event tomorrow. Even though they are showing just the campaign gameplay of Halo Infinite, still, Halo Infinite, half of that game is going to be the multiplayer, right? Like, we all know this, and we know that Microsoft just has a tendency to put more of a focus on multiplayer games. Again, this is just me speculating, but I'm just trying to talk about this and let you guys know that this is what Roberto Sereno on Twitter is saying. It's up to you whether or not you want to believe it. I'm going to tell you right now, you shouldn't just blindly believe it and be sitting back and anticipating, yup, August 6th is the day. But at the same time, he was correct about his last event. His last prediction in general, or his last rumor was not correct, but his last rumor regarding an event date was 100% correct and spot on. So maybe he's correct with this one as well. The timing would make sense. It is a Thursday, and it just seems likely that Sony is not going to want to push this state of play or this event, whatever it ends up being, really far out into August, because you have to imagine they're going to be talking about pricing, they're going to be talking about new games, potentially Silent Hill, stuff like that. So, they're going to want to do it probably sooner rather than later, so that way they can kind of bring back all of the momentum, or a large chunk of that momentum, right back on their side. That's just my assumption anyway. But to finish this video, I want to give you guys a little bit of an update on the PlayStation 5 demo stations. IGN is reporting on this, and they're saying a PlayStation spokesperson told IGN that the image of what appears to be a PlayStation-themed retail kiosk is not PS5 related. Earlier today, an image of what appears to be a PlayStation-themed kiosk began circulating on social media. The photo showed a white and blue colored retail area with a couch, table, and mount for what appears to be a TV screen. The photo was taken in an unnamed UK retail store by Iron Core Game. And IGN reached out to Sony to inquire about the photo, and a PlayStation spokesperson responded and said that the kiosk is not PS5 related. Sony did not explain what it's actually for, what it might be for. So I think this is an important follow-up, because one of the things I was highlighting with this is, to me, honestly, it seemed kind of obvious based off of the color here, like the color scheme, that it was going to be a PlayStation 5 demo station. Maybe Sony's just lying. Maybe not. I mean, if you do look closer at the image, you look at the box and you realize maybe a PS5 can't actually fit in there. But, the color scheme certainly made it seem like it was going to be PS5 related. And I was saying, look, this makes a lot of sense, because you have to imagine at some point over the next month or month and a half, pre-orders are going to have to go live. And if that's the case, it would make sense that, they have the demo stations up, but seems like they're not. So just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update and follow up on that. So that's going to do it for the video, guys. Let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. What do you think about this latest rumor? Do you believe it? Let me know why. If you don't believe it, let me know why not. And regardless of whether or not you believe the specific rumor about the date, let me know what you're expecting at this August event, especially now that we are actually having Xbox's big showcase tomorrow. What do you think Sony's going to do to respond? I will be very interested to see what you guys have to say. Leave the video a like if you enjoyed it or found it informative. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already. Hit the bell notification icon so you never miss an upload, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.